All right, hello, how's it going? Welcome everyone. We are live right now, and today we are going to be talking about autoimmune diseases, and we have three very special guests that are going to be joining me as well to be sharing their stories. And I really want this to be, a safe space to share and ask questions. So if you have any questions that come to mind, or you came here with the intention to ask some questions, comment down below. We're live on Facebook as well. And this is going to be under Goodbye Autoimmune Disease as well. So thank you all for joining and watching. So what I want to do first is share a little bit about me and my story and my journey into what I had experienced with autoimmune disease and what I did to start to feel better. And that's what I want this to be about, is for those that have come with us, have joined, that are going to be speaking today, are going to be sharing very similar. And then we're going to answer any questions in the end. So for me, how it started was I was living a standard, typical American lifestyle. And American lifestyle and how we typically eat, is a lot of fast food, a lot of junk foods, a lot of processed foods. And I fell into that. I ate a lot like that. I used to say, I have an iron stomach. I can eat anything I want. Nothing's going to impact me. And I used to believe in that. And so I would eat like that. And anything, was food. Food was food. And so, unfortunately, I think if you eat quite like that for a long period of time, you're going to experience some different symptoms, and it could manifest in different ways to different people. But for me personally, I started waking up every single night feeling like I was in a car accident and like my back was broken and I had like extreme inflammation in my back and I had no idea what was going on. I used to think, I was like, I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't lift anything heavy. Nothing makes sense, right? So I was going to the doctors, going to chiropractors, just trying to find out anything to find out what was wrong. But eventually I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And the autoimmune disease is called ankylosing spondylitis. And essentially what it does is they tell you that your immune system is attacking itself and causing in my situation, my spine to be extremely inflamed to the point where my spine was starting to fuse together, where I wasn't able to bend or move. And people, when it's untreated or they don't change, they call it, I think, bamboo spine or something like that. And you can see the fossils of it completely fused together, of people like that have passed away or whatever. And if untreated, like you would like just live like that, like you can't bend anyway. So it's really can be really traumatic and really painful. And so the doctor said basically the only option was a medication that was $4,000 a month. And I had the gene, I forgot what exactly the name, HB27, gene that they say, oh, you have this gene, so it's a genetic marker, so you're predisposed, you're more likely to get an autoimmune disease like this one. And so I couldn't afford the medication. I suffered for the next 4 years. I didn't know what to do. Eventually, I started taking the medication, and that's what made me really sick. Actually, the medication from the autoimmune disease, when I started taking it, had better insurance, is called Humira. And the reason why that caused me to be so sick is it weakens the immune system. That's the purpose of the drug, not one of the side effects. There's many side effects. Weaken my immune system. So because I had a weaker immune system, I got the flu, which completely destroyed me. And I was sick in bed for like 3 weeks straight. And I felt like I was going to die. Like, I honestly thought like, this is it. And nothing was working. I tried everything, every Google search, every person, every doctor I tried, asked for any kind of help, and nothing was working. So what I decided, if someone recommended me the documentary, What the Health, which is kind of crazy, I watched that documentary while I was really sick. And that's when I started learning about nutrition. It was the first time I ever learned that what we eat actually impacts how we live in our life. And I didn't even realize, or the diseases that we get. Even in the documentary, it talked about autoimmune diseases. That was my first introduction. From then, I just started learning and figuring out. I didn't get sick anymore after I started eating better, and I hadn't been sick for 5 years straight. But then I wanted to learn more about the nutrition and the autoimmune disease because it felt better, but it was still causing a lot of pain and a lot of stiffness, and there was still a lot of inflammation, and I still wasn't all the way better. And that's when I learned about gut health, which is something that we're going to talk about a little bit today. Was one of the most impactful things that I could possibly do. And when I learned about how to take care of the gut and get proper nutrition, like the right foods into my body, because it's really confusing for a lot of people. Like you could Google anything and find all kinds of information, and it's really, really tough, you know? And so one of the things that I know is really powerful for a lot of people, I know we'll talk about, is the foundation that we have inside our body is gut health. And so when I started to introduce, you know, foods and different, you know, products into my gut health journey, that's when I started to see a lot more relief from the pain, a lot more, you know, just better clarity, better energy, better digestion, less inflammation. And over time, when I was consistent, I was able to not when I was waking up at 3 a.m., I was feeling like I was in a car accident, like years after years after years, you know, and like, it's just, how do you, no one sees that. Like it's hard to share. Like people look at you like, like, what's wrong? Like even my friends are like, nothing is wrong with you. You're fine. You know, like during the day when it took me like 3 hours to get going, by the time you saw me, yeah, I was fine. You know what I mean? But like, that was the hard thing, you know? So finally having the relief and the symptoms gone since 2020. So it's been 3 years that I haven't had the symptoms. I could sleep all the way through the night, you know, completely. And this is one of the autoimmune diseases that people claim is one of the most painful ones that you could have. And I'm really, really grateful, because I wouldn't have learned this information on my own. It was actually someone that's on this call that shared this information with me. And I was really inspired by her, because she was sharing how she overcame an autoimmune disease of the skin, which I learned it has a similar root from the gut, which many people don't really realize that. So I want to introduce Allison. She's here, and she's actually on the go. She's in a camper, and so she's might not have the most perfect internet, and that's okay, but we think we can hear her loud and clear, but maybe the video won't come in. So Allison, feel free to share if you're there.
Hi, okay, you guys can hear me? Perfect. Thank you so much, Kevin. That is always so inspiring to hear your story, what you overcame. And yeah, so for me, I didn't even know what I had was autoimmune. I suffered with eczema since I was a kid, and it would come and go. And I never really, I kind of thought I just have sensitive skin, and I never really understood much more than that. Like I just didn't know what triggered it, and it would be really painful sometimes, debilitating, because I couldn't like wash my hands, but I just thought that's what I have to accept. It's kind of my skin or whatever. And then another thing that I suffered with since childhood is a form of herpes. So most people think of herpes and they think of genital. It wasn't a genital herpes. It was kind that comes on my, usually on my mouth, in or around my mouth. And that also, I just thought it was genetic, because my mother would get them, my grandmother would get them, and I was told that's just genetic. And I didn't know the correlation until I started doing research about it, and realized that the type of herpes I had was an autoimmune. And it was, yeah. So anyways, I didn't really, I didn't know what to do about it when I first found out, because that's a really, it's just something that you have to live with. And, I was on a healing journey for mental health mostly, which I didn't realize how correlated all of them are, because once you have one autoimmune, it's really common to have symptoms of all these other different autoimmune. They all present itself in different ways. And my mental health was really suffering. Like, I couldn't, it was like, I could just sometimes, there was even something, sometimes not even anything that wrong, but I couldn't like stop crying, or I couldn't get out of bed. And when I found out I was pregnant, when I was having kids, it was really important for me to start looking at solutions, because I was afraid to raise my kids with an unhealed, me being unhealed. My mother had mental health as well issues, and I didn't want to pass that down. So I started to look into, I guess, different modalities. I was doing yoga, a lot of meditation, breath work, and these things, helped. They definitely helped. They helped in certain ways, but it never really, healed my of course, it didn't get to the root. And I could, you know, it would like be like, I'd be calm for a bit and my autoimmune symptoms would be calmer. My mental health would be better for, you know, temporary, but then one thing would happen and everything would trigger it. And, you know, and so then this woman I met online, actually, she saw my symptoms of eczema. I was sharing about some stuff and she said, have you ever heard of glyphosate? And I was like, no, you know. She was like, well, you know, it could be, you know, if it could be the glyphosate, because my son had eczema. And we started talking and started learning, like we had so much in common. Like she had been on a healing journey herself. And I really, you know, resonated with her approach to the holistic way of healing. And I just resonated with everything, even though I didn't quite understand. She was like, you have to do this gut repair. And I thought I'm eating everything right. You know, I was at that point already, after having my 2 kids, I had gone completely plant-based. I was having juice. I was doing juicing, and, you know, you can feel the benefits of eating better. And I thought, this is as good as I can get. But she was like, no, it's, you know, we can't avoid glyphosate. It's in everything. And you have to take action. Like it's something you have to do. So I trusted her. I'm so grateful I did. And I got this ultimate lifestyle transformation, which really, really stands up to its name. Like I had no idea that all of these things were so connected to the gut. So as soon as I started to heal I felt, you know, my gut, first of all, the IBS, which is something that I struggled with, right away started to improve. My bowels and everything were regular, which is like a huge thing for anyone who suffers with irregular bowel syndrome. And I started to feel so good every day. I started to feel better. And I just, you know, things like the flare-ups like stopped happening. Like my eczema stopped happening, and my herpes and my depression and my mood lifted, my sleep improved, and every aspect of my life, things that I didn't know I was even suffering with, were just getting better. So that was almost 5 years ago. And I have not had a flare up of eczema since I started doing this, which is just incredible. My depression, I got off all my medications for depression and anxiety and sleep disorders. And I am thriving. I'm like, you know, it's just changed my life in every way. So it's no brainer that I needed to share this with the world. As you can see, I'm wearing my Purium hat there because I'm so proud of this company. I'm so proud of this protocol. I wish it on everyone. I just want everyone to experience it, because most people don't know what they're suffering with until they start to heal. And yeah, so that's my story.
That's so amazing. I want to say thank you so much for sharing. And I want to also say, like, the first time that I met you, we were in Belize, and that's when I had the most healing transformation for me, because of all of the things else that we were teaching there included, you know what I mean? Because, and that's something that we're going to get into a little bit later. It's like, it's multifaceted. It isn't just the food, or isn't just the gut health, or isn't just, you know, your environment, or, you know, it's also like the yoga, you know, and the meditation and the breath work, and like all these other healing modalities that are very important. And I was able to see that and experience that, and yeah, total lifestyle, you know? And so that was really, really powerful. And I think that that's also something that, you know, we were helping, you know, people see and understand that it does take, you know, a lot more than people think, especially when you're at the point where a lot of us were, you know, where, like I say, it's like, it's like an uphill battle. You know what I mean? Like, if you do a normal amount of stretching, it might be perfect for, let's say, an average person, right? But you have to do like 3 to 4 to 5 times more, you know, to recover, you know, than the average person might have to do. And I think that sometimes the climb up the hill, people don't realize that it can be tough, you know? And so someone, speaking of toughness and, you know, uphill battles and, you know, fighting through a lot, we're going to speak to Simone next. She's in Germany. And we've had the pleasure to speak with her last week, and she has a really, really powerful story as well. Please feel free to share anything that comes to your heart, you know, about your story. I know last time we talked a lot about IBS, but feel free to share anything else that you'd like to add.
Okay, hello everybody. So Yeah, my story is very long and I think complicated, but I try to break it down. It started already in my early childhood. I experienced a lot of trauma, and this absolutely has an impact not only on your mental health, but also on your physical health. And talking about the gut, my gut was the first symptom that I felt from all the violence and what else I experienced. So honestly, I didn't know what it was. I just had a crazy digestion. It was going up and down between obstipation and diarrhea and pain and cramps and everything. I had so much gas all the time in my belly. It pushed up under my diaphragm, and it was so painful. I ended up in the hospital. They thought I would get a heart attack, or I don't know. It was incredible painful, and I was housebound every second day. I was bedridden. It was so crazy. And like you, I mean, I ended up in the hospital, but I hid away home. So nobody really knew what was going on with me. And I didn't tell about it because it was unbelievable for me. And it was also embarrassing. So the gut, I have problems, or I had problems for more than 20 years with my gut. And now I really can say, as you say, I can share more. So I have multiple things, a lot of things to heal. And my gut is really the first thing where I can say now clearly it has healed. It has so improved. So I have no symptoms for more than 3 months now. And this is a milestone for me. This is so incredible. And in the end, it was easy. It was a leap of faith, maybe for me, because I tried everything before. Everything that you can find, you can imagine. You ran to the doctors and pharmacy and drugstore, nothing worked. And now, if I look at it, I changed my diet. I stepped into another lifestyle. I had a simple but super strategy for especially for my gut. So special herbs and capsules, but herbs inside. And they really work so good. It's incredible. They calm down the system. It's working so properly. So I'm so thankful. And like you, I found coincidentally Allison online. You found her in Belize, but me, I found her online, and I trusted her directly. Her posts were amazing. I was attracted, and I think people have to trust more and do a leap of faith sometimes. If they have an intuition, that may be my solution. And it was for me. And it's incredible because now I have so much more power to focus on my other things, because I have hormonal issues. I have endometriosis. I have flare-ups from MS because I have Lyme disease also. I mean, I had insomnia. This is also a lot better. Migraines also has improved already. So a lot of things are still going on. I can make a list, but I know I am on the right path, and I believe it. It is true. This is the right path, and it will heal. I'm so convinced that everything will heal. Everything can heal. And I say it out loud here. I repeat it. It will heal. It will heal. So I'm also focused on a lot of mindset work. And this is so powerful. And I love that in our community, this goes hand in hand. So the nutrition and the mindset. This is such a powerful package. And yes, as I said, it will heal, and it will heal others. They just have to start healing.
Yes, absolutely. Our body is desperately wants to heal itself. We're just not giving it the opportunity oftentimes. We need to give it the tools and get out of the way. You know what I mean? Like, we get in our own way. We add more things in, onto our skin, onto our brain, on our breath, into our mind, and it's getting in the way. Right. And the big thing that happens with a lot of us, and one of the root things is, it sounds like almost every single one of us had leaky gut. Most people have leaky gut, and that's usually the start, because the food is getting out of your gut into your blood, and your body has to take care of it, has to do something about it. It's not just going to leave it there, right? And that's where the inflammation comes in, and it gets overwhelmed, and that's where a lot of the autoimmune diseases start. And the reversal part is very time consuming. It could take a lot of time. And so did you want to add something, Simone, or are we ready to go to Lori?
No.
Oh no, okay,
No,
it's all good.
you
It
can
looks
go
like you're
on.
about to add
Thank
something.
you.
So I want to share or introduce now. Lori is going to be sharing next. So Lori, go ahead and share your story with us. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for putting this together. This is awesome. As I'm listening to everybody, I'm like, oh yeah, I used to have that. That used to happen to me. So I have Hashimoto's, and my story, again, like many of us with autoimmune diseases, it's very complicated because doctors don't always know what the heck is going on because we have so many symptoms, right? So I think it started like after I had my first baby when I was 20. I was 20 when I had my first baby. And so I think about a year later or so, I started realizing that like that postpartum like exhaustion and everything just wasn't going away. I had extreme fatigue, brain fog. I would always, every single day, I would wake up feeling like I had a hangover, and it was just the worst way to wake up in the morning, So I would bring all of these symptoms to my doctor. They wouldn't know what to do. They say, oh, you probably need iron, you probably need zinc, you probably need this, that. So I try all of that and nothing would work. Then I started developing horrible stomach pain, and I didn't know where that was coming from. And so they're like, okay, you have IBS, let's take fiber. Then they say, no, you have anxiety, so let's try some anti-anxiety medications. It's causing your stomach, like all of these things. Like, they didn't know what was going on until one day I went through, I don't know how many primary care physicians, honestly. And then one day someone found a goiter on my thyroid, one of my doctors, and sent me to an endocrinologist. And so after seeing this endocrinologist for a year and a half, she happened to have an intern, and new eyes, a fresh brain, still in school, still learning things. And she tested me for Hashimoto's, and that's what I ended up having. So she basically said, okay, we'll see you in 6 months. And I was like, wait, what do I do? Like, you just gave me a diagnosis. What am I supposed to do? Oh, nothing. Your thyroid is fine. Your levels are fine. So we're just going to see you in 6 months and monitor the goiter. And that didn't sit right with me because, of course, me being me, I researched everything. I'm like, what's going to happen to me if I don't treat this now? And basically what it was is she was waiting for my immune system to destroy my thyroid enough to put me on medication for the rest of my life. And I did not want that to happen. So what I did was I did my research, and I found, I started following like functional medicine doctors online. I really researched food and how I had no clue. By this time I had three kids, 2 small ones, 1 big one. So this was like when I'm like 30. And I just found food, and I cut out so much. I went paleo. I tried all of these supplements. I was doing everything on my own that I could to heal my gut, because that is functional medicine, the basis of functional medicine, which is what I learned. But I still wasn't feeling right. So then I went to a functional medicine doctor. He helped me. He put me on all these other supplements, like, and they were good. They helped. He kind of got my foot in the door as to the whole mind body connection, which I really didn't get at that point. And so what happened was I kind of finished my course with him, And I was feeling good, but I was still getting the brain fog. I was still waking up feeling like I had a hangover, and I don't drink, like, so, and I was drinking plenty of water. So then I ended up actually going to Functional Medicine Coaching Academy. And there I met an amazing group of women who were in my class, and we all basically it was amazing the transformation I went through there. Because it was all about positive psychology. It was all about the gut, healing the gut, but it was also about sleep. It was about every single aspect of your body. And I think the thing that I took away from there the most for myself was how to deal with stress and how to calm that down. So I think that's what really helped me. And then right now, I am in month 2 of my ultimate transformation. And I'll tell you, I've never been sleeping so well. I have, my skin is glowing, and I feel amazing. I haven't had any stomach pain. I have so much energy and absolutely zero brain fog, which I have not had since I had my first baby when I was 20. I've not felt this good. So it's like, this was like it was like this whole journey into this transformation. And this was like the final piece. And so it's why I'm so excited to share it with people, because I don't want it to take, 22 years for this to happen, for other people to feel better. So yeah, so I feel amazing. I still have Hashimotos. I still test, for the antibodies, but I am waiting to see. My doctor is right on board with this, and she's like, okay, we're going to test you again in 6 months, stay on your superfoods, and we're going to test you again and see where it's at. So I'm really excited to see, what happens then.
That is so amazing. And you look incredible. You definitely are glowing. And your story is very powerful. I appreciate you sharing that so much. Hashimoto's is very close to me, because that was my first experience into learning about autoimmune disease. I was doing a podcast interview with someone, and we're just sharing about, they were creating something else, and that was what the podcast was about. But they shared how they had Hashimoto's and how they overcome that. And that's what the podcast became about. And that was the first time I met someone in person that had an autoimmune disease, and she shared how she overcame Hashimoto's. And that's what led me into nutrition, learning how to, learning nutrition, learning how to help people, and learning about autoimmune disease, and finally figuring out my own, so I'll always be grateful, for learning about Hashimoto's in general,
That's amazing.
And what it does, because that's a really, really terrible one as well, because you're so fatigued and so tired and just no energy. You just want to sleep, like, just so much, and you just can't live your life, and it's so debilitating. That one's really, really tough for anyone that experiences that. And it's so grateful that you're not experiencing those symptoms, which is beyond incredible. Even though the doctors say you still have this gene, they'll still tell me you have this gene still, sometimes, you know what I mean? They're like, well, you still have this gene. I'm like, well, I don't feel, like that anymore. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I did anymore. So I'm going to keep I'm going to keep feeling great, is my goal. Right. So, all right. So what I want to do is let's because I know we want to wrap this up, and you guys shared incredible stuff. Let's just open this up for any questions right now. We'll open up for any questions. I didn't see any specifically. I don't know if you guys saw any while I was going through, but if you saw any, or if there's any questions, now is a great time for question and answer. And if there isn't any questions at this moment, what we can do is share just a little bit about some of the other, or a little bit about the foods that we're eating and how those are making an impact, and a little bit about the gut health. So I guess let's start with Allison. If you want to start, can you share a little bit about the foods that you've introduced, and a little bit about the gut health, and really what they mean to you, and why do you think they're so impactful in your healing and other people's?
Yeah, well, one of the key factors for me why this program works so well is because it's so convenient. It's so easy to get your green juice every day, the right amount of amino acids, the gut repair. I think what the missing piece for so many people is it's hard to find access to really good organic, high quality, especially from high quality soil produce. You can't find that in the grocery store. And this is just a really convenient delivery system of it. So it made it easy to stay consistent every day, which is the key to any, health is really, it's what we do every day. And it's allowed me to not only just have my green juice every day, what it's actually done is changed my cravings. So I'm not like craving the bad stuff that I was. And so just by addition, it's allowing me to subtract the bad stuff. And I would say it's just led me into a much cleaner, whole food, plant-based lifestyle.
Yeah, I totally agree, because right before I learned this, and I was looking for gut health everywhere. Like I was looking at so many people talking about gut health before I found you online. And one of the things that I struggled with when I was doing it was the first thing I learned was the medical medium, and I was following those protocols. And what I love the information about it, and all made sense. But the challenge is everything that you said. It was the convenience, it was the time, it was the energy spent. I was working like 70 hours a week at the time, adding in cooking, juicing every single thing, slicing, preparing, cleanup, adding all that in, and the amount that I needed to do it, I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even keep up. And so I had to, give up, even though I believed in it. But this was so easy, so convenient, so everything that you said, that it just fit, into my lifestyle so well, and I think that is very, very key, because so many people are busy on the go, moving, busy moms, and I not even have kids, and I was so busy. You know what I mean? Like people have kids, like it's even more busy, right? So thank you. Yeah, I definitely agree. That's really powerful. And then the quality, that was the other thing. I couldn't find this in any of the stores. Even if I look, I'm in like one of the best cities in the world, arguably in San Diego, and one of the best in Central, like right in the middle, arguably one of the best locations in arguably one of the best cities, right? The closest supermarket to me is Walmart, and then Costco, right? Even in the best area, right? Gray area. Yes, there's a Whole Foods and Sprouts and a couple of things a little bit further, right? But the point is, even those do not have the quality at all in the produce and the food that you actually need to overcome some of these things and get the quality nutrients that you really need. So that, I agree, is totally powerful. So is there anything that maybe you want to add in, Simone or Lori, as we wrap this up? Anything about the foods and what they mean to you and how they made an impact?
Yes, maybe. So I never thought that this will work before, but so usually when I woke up in the morning, I only wanted to be high on sugar because I had not much sleep and I just needed something for my brain, and it was sugar. So now the first thing in the morning, I just want my green juice. So this is so amazing. It took maybe 1 week, but now I'm so I'm so used to it, and I love it. It is so delicious, and I never thought that before. And this is so great, because when I'm drinking it, I know I get all the good stuff for my body at the first thing in the morning, and this is so amazing for me. I really love it. And what I also want to add is that when I speak to people and present the superfoods or tell about the company, they always think, oh, only drinking shakes, this is too boring. But it's not that. It's so hard. They only think you have to drink the shakes and that's it. But it's not like this. I mean, we all prepare healthy meals, and there is such a great variety. They just don't want to be interested in healthy food or organic food. Sometimes they are so stubborn and stick to their old patterns, and this is such a shame, because if you really want, you find fresh veggies and fresh food, and there are so many recipes and you can eat so healthy and combine that with these superfoods. And this is, yeah, such a blessing now in my life.
Yeah, it's just a mindset, you know, and just like what you think was food before and what you think actual food is now, you know what I mean? I traveled around the world, you know, in all kinds of different countries, even, you know, parts of Europe, you know, parts of Asia, parts of, you know, Central America, obviously North America, and the way people eat is so different, you know, breakfast and lunch and dinner is so different from everyone that you're just so ingrained in what your culture is and what you eat in your culture that it's really hard for a lot of people to even change any kind of thing. The only reason a lot of us shifted here is because we were in so much pain. We were so sick and tired of being sick and tired that we said enough is enough. You know, I'm going to make these changes no matter what. And I'm going to listen to the people that have gone through what I've gone through so that I can learn from them. And that's the other thing that I recommend people do when they are trying to do something is if you're trying to accomplish anything, whatever the heck it is in your life, you know, whether it's a challenging disease that you're trying to overcome or build some business or whatever you're trying to do, look at the people that have done it and follow in their footsteps and ask how they did it, right? We're always taking so much information in from people, you know, that have never actually done the thing that we're trying to do. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't go to my doctor, you know, or let's use the doctor as an example, right? You know, to fix my car or something like that. I go to the mechanic, you know, to fix my car, right? Because they know what they're doing. They've done it. They fixed a bunch of cars, you know, they have a lot of experience in that, right? So same thing with like someone that's ran a successful business, right? I'm going to listen to that person, you know, that's running the successful business versus someone that just has a lot of theories on how, you know, a business could work, right? Same thing with this, you know, I'm listening to people and I listen to people like you all the time, people just like you guys on the call right here, you know, all the time. And how did you do it? How do you feel better? How did you get over your autoimmune disease? And I learned so many things from all of you guys all of the time, right? On, you know, different yoga practice. I would have never done yoga ever in my life. Well, I did it try once before Allison, but I would probably not continue, right? But that has been critical, you know, in my personal healing journey, or anyone with ankylosing spondylitis or rheumatoid arthritis or any of the autoimmune diseases of the spine, the joints and the flexibility, any of those ones, like hypercritical, you know, the yoga. So I know we're wrapping this up, but let's end with Lori. If there's anything that you want to add, and then we can wrap this one up. I really appreciate you guys so much.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to add to like the quality and the how easy it is to get these superfoods in, because when I went to my functional medicine doctor, he gave me a whole bunch of supplements and I spent hundreds of dollars on these supplements. And while they did help, he also recommended that I eat 8 small meals a day and get all of these, not 8, 6 small meals a day and like 9 servings of vegetables and, you know, fruits and vegetables. And for me, I was lucky if I was getting 2 meals a day in, because I'm a single mom with the 3 small kids and working full time and running around. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to feed them. I wasn't really worried about me eating like as much as I should be. So then I had to add in all of these supplements, which had fillers and, you know, they had all this other stuff in it that the Purium stuff just doesn't have. It's 100% organic, and it's so easy to get those servings in because it's super concentrated organic dehydrated fruits and vegetables. So you're going to get those servings in. And, you know, I wish that he knew about this, because then I would have stuck to it more. It's so easy to stick to when you're busy. It's literally scoop, shake, drink, you know, and it just because it's so concentrated. And you see results, you feel the results, like almost, it was 3 days. 3 days, I felt the results. I felt my brain fog lift. And like Simone had said, my craving for chocolate just disappeared. It was amazing. So yeah, I think that was the thing that really got me to stick to it, was how clean it is and how convenient it is.
Yeah, because conventional fruits and vegetables, you need to eat a lot. Like the equivalent, you need to eat 200 carrots to get the same amount of nutrients in 1 carrot grown in regenerative soil. I just can't eat 200 carrots. That's really hard. I don't know if you've tried. So to get the same nutrients, and that's where people are really, really struggling. So you have 1 power shake and it's the equivalent of 6 salads in terms of microgreens and nutrients, right? So your body's getting more than it's probably ever had, right? And so it's really, really hard to, like you said, you can't eat 6 salads in a day, even though you're like, this would be really good. It'd be really great if I could, but I don't have time to do that, right? So I totally understand that. And I appreciate you. And honestly, this is really great. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for coming. Anyone that's watching this video or watching this replay, or anyone that had invited you to watch this, they have a very special gift for you so that you can try some of these foods that we've been talking about, up to $100 off. So definitely reach out to that person and say, hey, how do I get a discount on this? I really want to start some of these foods. It's going to make an impact. I want to feel better. So reach out to them. And I thank you all so much for this. And we'll be seeing you soon, hopefully on the next event. Take care, everyone.